saw this show, I was like, oh great, he's a great family man. And then he started working at a brothel that was disguised as a gas station, and I was like, oh, this show is on some other shit. Hey y'all, it's Nate. Welcome back to my little corner of YouTube. Today we are talking about Hollywood, a Netflix original limited series. If you haven't seen it and you just want a synopsis, that's going to be this first part, but anything else after that will contain spoilers. Hollywood follows a group of young people in the entertainment industry in the 1940s. So we're talking the golden age of Hollywood. There are 4 struggling actors, a struggling writer, and a struggling director. What makes this show different from your typical period piece is the fact that it looks at the world from a what-if POV. It's Hollywood reimagined. What if black women were given lead roles? What if gay men were allowed to act? What if black men were allowed to be screenwriters? And what if interracial relationships existed with little to no issues? We're still hoping for that right now. Well, Hollywood is giving you all of that and more. Everything from this point on will contain spoilers, so if you haven't seen Hollywood on Netflix and you don't want spoilers, save this video and come back after you do. Is it weird that this show felt like chicken noodle soup for the soul? I loved it so much. Actually, I've watched it twice, and that's the reason that I'm doing a review on it even though it's so old, is because I recently gave it a rewatch and it was still just as good as the first time. As a black woman, a lot of my life and history unfortunately revolves around imagining the world in a less bigoted, less racist state of being. The characters in this show are complex, yet relatable, and are perfectly developed. I don't even typically like period pieces, but I love this show. So this series didn't go as far as ridding the world of racism and bigotry, but it does show the world in a reduced state of racism and bigotry.
This is our screenwriter, Archie Coleman.
Pleasure to meet you both.
You're colored. I love it.
And it is such a fresh breath of air to look at what Hollywood could have been and really what it should have been in regards to inclusivity and diversity. And really what it still needs to be, if I'm being honest. Now, when I first saw this show, I was like, oh great, he's a great family man who is married to a great family woman. And they're about to have their first kid. And then he started working at a brothel that was disguised as a gas station, and she turned out to be an adulterer, and I was like, oh, this show is on some other shit. That being said, I was here for the Golden Tip gas station. First off, it is clearly a double entendre and has that meaning of golden tip, if you know, you know. And I am all about doing what you gotta do to get the bag, so long as you are not hurting anybody in the process. Another thing that I really loved about this series was the nod to Paramount Studios. You might know Paramount for its recent titles such as Top Gun Maverick, Scream 6, and Smile. But Paramount also holds the IP for Mean Girls, which is definitely a classic that defies time. And Paramount also owns classic brands like Nickelodeon, MTV, and Comedy Central. All brands that I grew up on. So it kind of holds a special place in my heart. Also, fun fact, Hollywood was actually shot on the Paramount lot. I recognize a lot of the sound stages, so they really did stay true to that. And maybe it's because I'm born and raised in Los Angeles and I have lived in Hollywood at different points in my life. And I recognize the historical significance of my city and the historical significance of some of the landmarks that they showed in the show. Like the Paramount sound stages or the Paramount gates, which of course they renamed Ace Studios in the show. As well as that water fountain. That gate and water fountain are still on the Paramount lot to this day. Another thing that I really loved about the show, and this is going to sound so ridiculous, but it almost made me tear up, is the fact that they had the Hollywood lights. I grew up in Hollywood from like, you know, a little kid, probably till I was about 10 or 11 before them prices went up, child. And the Hollywood sign used to, what felt like every night to me, I don't know if it was every night, the memory's a little blurry, but it used to have these lights that were kind of like, have you ever seen the people who do the plane signals? Bright white lights that would just go like this all night. And I think they used to mainly do it when they had some type of major event happening. And you could see these lights from miles away. And from my childhood apartment that was really centered right in Hollywood, you could see those lights. And I just have such nostalgic memories of being a kid and being like, you know, what are those lights? And just it's just a piece of history that you really don't get unless you did grow up in Hollywood. It just made me feel really nostalgic, and yeah, it made me so happy. I know I did talk about the fresh look of this show and how I felt like they kept some of the topics fresh and, you know, modern, but I will say I love that they stayed true to set design, so like what it would have looked like back then, as well as the fashion of the time. Everybody looked like they were dressed up in their Sunday best every day. It literally was a fashion show, and I love the costume design on this show. Overall, I give this show 5 golden film reels. One thing y'all about to learn about me is I love a movie or TV show that's going to leave me feeling good. I am a very empathetic person, so if the characters aren't feeling good by the end, then I'm not going to be feeling good by the end. So even though Jack and his wife didn't end up together, I think that it ended the way it should have been. He's getting ready to start his career in Hollywood. She's off about to have a baby with the man she should have been with the entire time. It all ended good for everyone involved. The only person I feel who didn't get what they had coming was the sleazy agent, who was making boys. Well, you already saw it, so you know what he was making them do. It did seem like he turned over a new leaf at the end, but I was still like, he didn't really get what he was supposed to get. Like, the thing that was supposed to happen to him ain't happening. He's supposed to be in prison, but I digress. Shout out to the Rev Air for providing the hair for this video. I have been wearing my hair stretched for a little bit over a year now, and the Rev Hair has completely cut my time in half and still leaves me with so much shine. You see it, don't act like you don't. If you want to give the Rev Hair a try for yourself, you can click the link in my description box. Let me know what you thought about the Hollywood Limited series in the comments, and I will see y'all in the next one. Subscribe. You might know Paramount for its new. Had these lights, what, bright? Hello? Damn bird or something just flew outside. I don't know what it was. It was getting creepy for sure.
If I'm on your mind, just say that. Brand new Benz, brand new Maybach. Got brand new friends for way back. If you my style, can't change that.